Hello, everyone. Welcome back to season 2 of Ain't Gonna Be No Stupid. I am here with my friend Lorena, who is also, I like to call, another coach in my life. She's inspiring on Instagram. You're going to find out a lot about her today. And I feel like I'm excited because I feel like I'm going to get some free coaching out of my funk that I've been in just by talking to her today. So you guys are going to be blessed. And if I could just throw it to you a little bit too, Lorena, if you could introduce yourself.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, Amy. I'm really excited about this. So a little about me. I'm a single mom. I live for Christ. That's just trying to live my purpose, understand and listen to the word and what he's telling me, and to continue to keep doing that. And just really, what else? Let's see. I'm a certified life coach, like Amy mentioned. That's where we met in our amazing program through Awaken. And I also have my master's in psychology, which I just got a few years ago. So all that ties in with the life coaching, with the business aspect of starting my own business. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it.
I love it. I love it. Before we get into more of the meat of what you do and what I'm inspired by watching you since I've known you since last year, it's just fun watching you. But I want to start with our usual innocent, stupid story. I'll go first. And since the theme is kind of artistic, because you are inspiring me with your artistic endeavors, I think back to you make me think back to my kindergarten days. And I lived with a mom who was like very neat and never like messes. So I never got to finger paint. So I remember one day, it was one of those deals where you have like, okay, we have stations and they're giving you all the directions for stations. And it was a normal thing to have stations, but I got so mad because I could never finger paint. So I literally, when they said, okay, go to your stations, they teach you how to walk slowly. I hightailed it to the finger paint. I'm like, a finger paint today if it kills me. And then I don't even know who I hit, but I didn't get the finger paint because I ended up in the lunchroom with a bag of ice on my head. I couldn't, and to this day, I don't even think I've experienced finger painting, but it just was traumatizing, So I just think back, like, I really have a heart. I have a heart for such art. And I don't think I think I have an undeveloped gift like my mom. We found one of her old report cards and it says she has an underdeveloped gift. So I have to start with this too. I just bought my mom these, and all you do is you scrape off, right? You just scrape off the art. And it took me about 10 minutes to do this.
So you created that all by yourself?
Yeah, but they give you this. It's like a cheat sheet. It's like that, whatever they call it. It was an Amazon outlet for $8. And there's about 8 of these. So guess what? You talk about anxiety. We're going to talk about anxiety later. There's one good little strategy to calm down. But let's hear if you have a little innocent, stupid story. And this could be a story that, it could be just a time when it was just stupid. And I mean stupid in the sense of we didn't know better. It could be as recent as yesterday, or it could be childhood, whatever you think of. It's like a stupid, innocent though. Maybe ignorant story.
I actually have two. I had one that I was already like thinking of, and then as you mentioned your childhood story about finger painting, I thought of one. This is really quick. So I remember in 3rd grade, during our Christmas show, the teacher asked, okay, I need 9 people to volunteer to be reindeers for the Christmas show. So right away I raised my hand, and I was a very shy little girl, but I was like, this is gonna be so fun. So long story. They said everybody to dress up in leggings, and t-shirt, and a long t-shirt, but it has to be the same color. So it was just like, if you wear red leggings with a red long shirt, something like that. That was the reindeer costume. Any color just had to match. I don't know where I misunderstood the instructions, and I showed up in a dress. And I was the only reindeer in a dress. And that did not look cute, but it was funny in the pictures.
Oh, I bet you were mortified inside.
Oh yeah, I was 9, and I just don't know where I processed that it was okay to wear a dress and be the only reindeer that did not match. And I was like, maybe I'm Rudolph. I don't know. I just don't know.
I'm surprised. Yeah, right. You were Rudolph for sure, right? That's hilarious. You stood out. But now, did they let you? I'm surprised. Some teachers would have been like horrified and been like, no, we need to get you some leggings. You're not going to be in the show. They didn't do that to you though.
They did not, but she was very upset. She's like, did you not listen to the instructions? maybe, but I forgot.
It's the theme of a teacher. We're used to not being heard and for follow directions. We're used to it. We're like, oh my gosh. So you have another one, another story?
Another one is actually when I turned like 18 and I started applying for credit. How I, you hear the value of importance of credit and building credit and apply for credit cards. And once again, here I go where I'm like, okay, so I'm going to Macy's, to Nordstrom, applying everywhere. Swipe, swipe, swipe. And then I get the statements. I'm like, I have to pay all this? Like, oh no, that's building credit. I don't know where I thought. I mean, I was young and naive.
Oh my God.
I didn't know. And yeah, then it's like years later, you're paying all these.
Oh man, I lived like that in my 20s too. Yes. And they prey on you in college. They sit there with a little like free gift on a table and they're like, here, little girl, you want this candy? I'm going to give you a credit card. Yeah, you don't have to pay it. Oh my gosh. I remember getting sucked into that. I wish somebody.
And it gets addicting because you're just like, well, I could buy this. I don't have to pay for it right now. This is great. I'm 18 with all those new clothes. Yeah.
Well, that sounds more like, that sounds more like a stupid situationship, which is a transition we're going to make here. I don't usually talk about mine because there's too many, but you tell me. It's just a situationship. It's just defined as a relationship that you either didn't expect to have, or one that you think is a relationship but it's not, or things that just come upon you and you're like, oh, I'm in this situation right now. What's the deal? What do you got?
Well, obviously it's so easy to go straight into dating, right? In those situationships.
Yes.
And I'm a single mom, as I mentioned earlier, and so there's been a lot of relationships that have been like that, where is this going somewhere? Is this something? Is it not something? I don't know. And then I hear God tell me no. And then, you get rejected. Man's rejection is God's protection.
You said that to me. You said that to me in 2019. It was awesome. It was such a great word in season for me.
It's good. I live by that. I'm like, no, if it's not working, it's not God's plan. So, so that's the first thing I thought of, like, when you asked me this. But the situationship one recently was my addiction, honestly, to TikTok. When I started TikTok,
I think I'm responsible though. I think I'm responsible. Didn't I say you need to get on TikTok because I saw how fun it was during COVID?
It was fun. It's fun, and it is fun. You know what it was? I started during the pandemic, so I started like April, March, around there, March, April, and it kind of was therapeutic. That's what I felt. I've always loved I used to be a background actor for years. So I've always loved being like behind the cameras or like acting or something. So for me, doing that was just like life. It brought life to me. It had me getting up every morning, doing my hair, doing my makeup, rehearsing lines, right? And it was fun.
You do so many, like the one where do you have the trick then where because you do a lot of lip sync, or what do you call it?
Yeah.
Dubbing. And do you have the trick where you back it up and listen? There's a trick of how to do it. How do you do it? So I
memorize the lines.
Oh my gosh. And so you don't slow it down or anything.
I don't slow anything down, the speed was always the same. I did memorize most of them, but there was a lot of retakes. There's some that took like 15 times. Like it was a lot of, but I had a good short-term memory.
If you're not on TikTok yet, go on her Instagram, Lorena, Visions with Lorena. We'll talk about that later at the end or whatever. I'll put it in the notes. But you have some TikToks on there that are hilarious. The one about tying your shoes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Was that Olivia's voice?
No.
That was the sound. That was another sound.
Pre-recorded sound. Yeah.
I thought so. So how many followers? This is what blows me away.
Well, I think I haven't been on as much lately, but I think I have about 3,400.
I think that's a lot. Like,
I mean, it grew quick.
It grew really quick because you were on like all the time on my feed. It was like so funny. I'm like, oh, I gotta do that, but I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to get out of bed. Like I wasn't depressed. I was just enjoying the laziness of this pandemic, and you just inspire me. I gotta get back on there.
It is pretty fun, and it is, like I said, therapeutic, and also one of the things I enjoyed about it was the Christian community on there. Honestly, it was just so inspiring.
The more you
I felt like I was going to church every day.
Exactly. And the people that don't know about TikTok, I mean, you can sit and like the things like the naked challenge, or you can like the dances, and then all you're going to get on your feeds are those things. But if you don't like those things, they don't show up anymore. If you like all the things that you like, will show up. So the Christian community, like I said, it is amazing, amazing teaching, amazing. And you can find, it makes you think, it makes you go, wow, I never thought of it that way. And they do their research and they're very, I mean, not everything or everybody is doing exactly like, it's not like completely theologically sound, but I think 90% of it is, right? I mean, you really are, it really is challenging. So that's another reason I love TikTok. Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
awesome.
I like it.
All right. So we are here now mainly for the meat of the program, which you sent me the title and then I kind of tweaked it. I'm not going to let fear stop me from my purpose. Is that pretty much the theme of what we're talking about today?
That's exactly.
Because I know you and I, both of us, I mean, I know no matter how old you get, I thought that once you got to a certain age, you wouldn't have these fears or you wouldn't feel like a little kid inside, but you still feel like a little kid inside in certain situations, right?
Exactly.
So if you could talk to us about like some of the strategies that got you like the whole thing with your wreaths. That's another thing that's blowing up on social media. And Michael's found you because you made all these beautiful wreaths. And yes, Michael's the art store, the art supply store. Like, I mean, it's just so inspiring to watch you. How did you go from, I'm gonna do some TikToks, and then you transitioned over into I'm gonna feed my creative gift in artistic gift again, and I'm gonna make these wreaths. How did that even come about?
You know, honestly, it kind of started a year ago. Everything really started a year ago when I started the life coaching program. I think I found my purpose there. When I found my purpose and my calling, my confidence just went like through the roof, you know? And it all made sense to me where God wanted me to be. And I kept just listening to his voice saying what to do next, what to do next. So with my life coaching, a year ago, I had my first vendor event where I brought 8-10 vendors, and they were all women. And so I had them, you know, I had the whole thing set up so they could sell their products. They were also just local businesses. And so I wanted to start something with that. And I started my vision board workshops, which were,
that vision board seminars you had, and then that must have ignited something also inside of you when you did that.
I love groups since I was a professor at Pepperdine. I loved being in a group setting. So I love teaching to a whole group as opposed to therapy one-on-one.
Same.
And the vision board workshops was great because it was a time for me to show everything I've learned with my psychology background, with the life coaching, and applying God's purpose into it.
It all matches.
It was the best thing ever. As you can see, it just
would you say clarity is really key then in life?
Oh, clarity, mindset. Yeah.
So when you mentioned, do you think then your affirmations that you've been saying has propelled you into this?
Oh yeah. I've been calling everything by faith like the last year. Like I speak it into existence. And some people say, well, why would you say that? What if it doesn't happen? I'm like, no, it's going to happen. And if it doesn't,
because you got to trick your subconscious, right? Our subconscious doesn't know any different. If we lie to it, we can lie to it with negativity, or we can lie to it with positivity.
Exactly. You are in control of your mindset 100%. You can tell yourself you're drinking a water bottle, a Fiji water bottle, or whatever expensive water bottle, or Aquafina. Your mind doesn't know the difference. Whatever it is. I'm just trying to.
Good metaphor. Good metaphor.
Yeah, like your mind doesn't know.
Yeah.
So your mind, you tell your mind, I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am brave. I can do this. I will do this.
Yes.
Because those words alone will change your perspective of whatever you're trying to do and your goals. And it's powerful. And talk about it to others, because now you have to hold yourself accountable too, as you're telling other people. So like tying this in with the wreath business, this started this year. I just initially started making wreaths for my mom, for her house. That's how it all started. And I posted it one day on my social media, and somebody said, how much? And I said, what? That I'm not selling it. It's for my mom, but I can make one, I guess. And it took off. And
how do you keep up?
It's really hard because it's just me. And like November alone, I've probably sold over 30 wreaths this month alone.
Gosh, amazing. Yeah. I know.
And,
I just DM'd you about the Packer one because I was looking through and I'm like, okay, I got to buy this for my family. I've got to.
And they're all custom made. Yes. So that all of those have been orders. Most of them, the ones I've made, have been orders. Some have been my original ones. The one for Michael's, that one I just made myself. And then Michael's reached out and commented, and Yeah. So
Do they
a lot of
give me any money for that, or what are they
no,
using it? Yeah, I don't know how
no
to
money.
negotiate that.
However, though,
Closure.
I did start my Etsy page in October, which was a huge step for me because once again, it's that voice saying, do it, do it. I'm like, no, what's going to happen? What if no one
Yes,
buys? Who wants my
yes,
wreath?
yes.
And I have now in 1 month, 23 sales on Etsy. And yeah, and they're all actually Midwest, South, East Coast. Not There are a
Oh,
few here on the West Coast, but not many. Um,
wow.
yeah. And what was I going to say to that? I forgot.
That's
But
beautiful.
yeah, yeah, it's
That's
been going good.
amazing. So
It's
then
been good.
you did mention, I looked at your intro on IG again, like you did a video about
Mhm.
like about a year ago, I think. Let me know, who you are. And
Okay, yeah,
you did say that you still have anxiety, but
yeah,
how do you manage it? You said you manage it. So can you give the audience some tips on how to manage anxiety?
sure. Actually, it's funny, not funny, but I had a cut. I was on meds and I was going to therapy for a couple years, and I had to actually stop cold turkey just because of like insurance reasons. So I was cut off meds and therapy, and that's when my daughter Olivia was really young, and I remember saying, "I'm gonna conquer anxiety God's way, not the worldly way." And not what they wanted me to do. And so I told myself I'm okay. It was just certain techniques I used, which were just breathing techniques. I learned how to talk to my anxiety, like actually like get upset at my anxiety and say, "You're not gonna win today. Go away. You are not
Oh,
invited in this situation. You're
that's
not
just like the
invited."
not today, Satan kind of,
That
right?
exactly.
It's like that kind of a phrase.
It is that, and that helps a lot for me. Because it was when I was with my daughter, I had a panic attack at Disneyland when I was with her, and I remember just saying, this is not going to win. This is not going to win. We're having a beautiful day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm stronger than that. So
Yeah.
the panic attacks, anxiety attacks last longer because we make it last longer. Technically they only last probably a few seconds, but we ourselves hyperventilate and make it last longer because we start thinking things, right?
Right.
But if you tell yourself, write it, take a deep breath, it's going to pass, it's going to go away, and it will. And
Wow.
once you understand your symptoms and your triggers, you
Yes.
can beat them. You
Can you
can. You just
can you avoid triggers altogether? No, because they're going to be there.
no.
It's just that you have
The,
to handle it.
the triggers will always be there. I'm not a big person, a big fan of crowded places. Disneyland, Costco. I get
See?
anxiety in Costco, but I tell myself, I make my list of what I need. I get what I need, and I walk out. I don't linger longer than I'm supposed to because then I'll feel it. So like you just learn to
Is
work
it
with
because is it because you feel people's energies that you don't like crowds?
I think it's the sense of like, can I escape if an emergency happens? Like I have this,
Oh,
yeah, I like movie theaters. I
yeah.
learned I have to sit at the end, not in the
Wow.
middle, or
Yeah.
like in a classroom setting. I like to sit
You're in the
close to the
back.
door,
I'm always
yeah, or the
a
back.
back row girl too.
Yeah,
I didn't know if that's why.
it just made sense to me, and but I started challenging myself at church this year. I actually told myself, no more back. Let's go to the front, Lorena, and let's sit in the middle. So I
Wow.
started challenging myself
Yeah.
and telling God, this will not win. You're stronger. You're more powerful than this, than my anxiety. And I have overcome so much because I was diagnosed with agoraphobia, which is fear of going out.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and I've overcome all of it with no meds, no anxiety. It was just changing my mindset, talking to my anxiety, understanding that I will win.
Yeah.
Um, and it will get the best of you at days, at times. We're
Sure.
human. However, I just don't let it win too long.
Hey, I love that. So like any other practical tips that you could tell us about, like literally you say you talk to yourself, you're forcing yourself, like I'm afraid of snakes. So I don't think there's ever a day that I'm really going to go. I don't really plan to ever get over that phobia.
Yeah,
I don't plan to go find a snake and touch it. And you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
there's just
yeah.
some things I'm like, I'm good being afraid of snakes. But when it comes to like life, like, putting yourself out there for the world to see, I know that's a phobia still for me. Like there's a part of me that wants to be on TikTok, that wants to show, I want to help people, but at the same time, I want to stay hidden. I love that they put us on lockdown right now. Like I am
Okay.
thriving as an introvert with
Yeah.
that, so I don't know. I guess what baby steps, vision board, talk to God, mindset, breathe.
Well, Here's the thing too. That helped me was whenever I go through something like that, like, well, I want to do this, but I haven't done it. What advice would you give to somebody who was going through the same exact thing you're going through? Would you tell them, go for it? You have nothing to lose. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You would probably tell a friend that if they
Yes.
had come to you with the
Yes.
same concerns, the same fears.
Yes.
So then it's easy to tell somebody what to do, but it's hard to apply it, right?
It is.
So I feel, yeah, I feel the most important thing is, well, one other technique I learned was literally getting a chair in front of you and just talking to yourself. Like if you're talking, like telling yourself like, hey,
Yeah.
you got this, you can do it, if in case you don't have someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And you kind of let it out. But
I love
also
that.
one of the things I like to practice technique I do with my daughter with a lot of things, she's 11, she's growing, learning, doubting, so much is going on at that age. And I always tell her, let's always play out worst case scenario. And it's not that I'm trying to be negative, but if you play out worst case scenario, now you know what's the worst that can happen.
I've heard that.
And if the worst is not that bad after you say it, it's like, well, then I think it'll be okay. Just a small example, she had wanted to raise her grade in a class, and she was afraid to email her teacher to say, hey, I didn't turn this assignment. What can I do? And she was afraid. And I said, the worst that can happen, he's going to say no. But the best that can happen is that he's going to see your effort and that you care about your grade. And that's better than anything. And she was like, you're right. She was like, you're right. And I sat next to her. We wrote that email out, and he responded with, turn in anything you have. I will give you a couple days.
That's how
she was like, Mom, it worked. And I'm
that's
like,
how we roll. That's beautiful that she has you by her side like that. Oh, I didn't realize that there's probably some apprehension for kids to even reach out to me. And I don't think I'm threatening, but just the title maybe alone.
I think it's that fear of the unknown. What's going to happen? What if they say no? What if the teacher thinks this A through Z of me?
Yeah.
So as a professor, I said, Olivia, I loved when a student reached out to me and said, hey, I'm going through this.
Exactly.
Can you help me work?
Tell us, communicate. That's exactly it. That's great. I remember even sitting with you as a life coach training, you had to partner up. And I just remember you were very instrumental in helping me get clarity on I think I have a duck motif in my book. We were laughing about it because I was kind of going off on it, and you were just letting me go because it's all about brainstorming, right? And then the book came to fruition, and I don't think it would have had I not gone through this life coaching training. And thank you for being a part of that.
No, thank you for making me part of that. That was fun.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. So if you ever need life coach, I mean, Lorena does group coaching, but I'm sure you do some one-on-one as well, right? If you
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, everything's virtual now, so she's in LA, but it doesn't matter now. It doesn't really matter. No. Oh my gosh, Lorena, is there anything else we need to cover here? I did take some notes, but you pretty much covered it.
Can I just mention one more thing?
Yes.
I wanted to just talk more about the mindset and how powerful your mindset is. Just kind of what we were talking about a little bit ago about the words you use, waking up every day, stating what you're grateful for. One other technique that has helped me with anxiety and certain like bad moments. Like last year I had 3 car accidents in 1 month. I fell at work all within 1 month. I had a workman's comp, a lawyer case with a case with my car accidents, and I quit my job. So it was a lot in 1 month that I went through last summer, and it was really, really a hard time. But I always told myself, well, name 5 ways this could be worse. And it just put everything into perspective, how it wasn't as bad, because I said, well, my car still works. Yeah, it looks ugly. It's cracked, it wasn't totaled. I said, I'm still alive. Amen. I still, I'm breathing, I'm out here, I'm okay. I was able to get a lawyer. I was able to get workman's comp for my fall. Everything was like, perspective is everything. Even with 2020, I know many people talk about how it's been a horrible year, and by far it's been a very difficult year, adjusting, transitioning, and just the unknown. Everything that we never expected has happened this year for many. Yes. But I feel like this was the year I took it as and said, I'm gonna challenge myself to be bigger and better and beat 2020.
It's a reset. It's a total reset, like a upgrade into the software, right?
Yeah.
It's like something good is coming. Be ready,
Yes.
people, right? I
Yes.
know.
Yes.
I feel you
Make
on
the
that.
best of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you just learn to adjust with the times. If we're home now, let's make the best of it.
Yes.
Whatever it is, whatever it
Yes.
may be. It's not easy. I know many people have got sick and, passed away
I
from COVID.
know. Yeah.
Believe me, I don't know that pain.
Yeah.
My family, we have been very healthy and safe this whole time.
Yeah.
However, it can hit us any day. And
Mm-hmm.
when it does, I know we're in God's hands
Yes.
and we'll be okay.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
just perspective, faith is just so crucial to helping
It
with anxiety, helping with everyday
I don't know
things.
how people go through this without faith in God. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did I would not be I would not be where I am, and I'm enjoying my alone time more than ever, which don't tell anybody. But it's just been nice to have the life slow down because my life was so crazy busy before, and I really am so grateful for this time of reflection and to get to know and hear God's voice, because you don't hear his voice when you're busy. You only hear it when you quiet yourself. So I love that you hear God's voice. And that's something that's a skill as well. Knowing whose
Yeah,
voice is talking, right? Is that me? Is that the devil? Is that God? Is that what? No, you got to know his voice, and it's a still small voice, and you
it
will
is.
hear it only when you are silent. Well, I'll hear it in Costco too, right?
Right.
But
Don't get the muffins.
yeah. Exactly. Lorena, this has been such a blessing to have you. I'm so glad to reconnect
So
with
much,
you.
Amy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I love you, and I will be in touch soon.
Sounds good.